News Radio WHAM 1180 welcomes you to The Seniors Rock Show, presented by the law firm of Clark Peshkin. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join us with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now, from the News Radio WHAM 1180 studios in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hi there. Good afternoon. I am Joanna Palvino, and I'm your host here today with this week's co-host, I'm happy to say, is Jeff Flaherty. He's been on before, and I think you know him as the guy who says, don't be cold in your home. He says it better than I do, and we'll talk to him in a little bit here. He's otherwise known as the founder of Wise Home Energy. I'm kidding around here, but if there's supposed to be a power outage in the area somewhere today, and the snow is on the way, as I understand. We don't have it here, but if you're out there and you're getting it, let us know. It's a good day to have Jeff on the air. So we hope you're staying warm out there. And Jeff, are you ready for the cold?
Hi, Joanna. I absolutely am ready for the cold. I was built for this. I'm a former amateur child hockey player, so ice runs through my veins, or at least one time ran under my feet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I didn't know you were a hockey player. I forgot about that. I think you did tell us that a while back, but very nice. And what a good match for the cold weather, of course. And today, Jeff's going to stay with me for the hour, and we're gonna have some fun, and we're going to learn something new, as we usually do every week on the show. That's kind of our mission, you know. It's and before we get into it, I want to give you a quick reminder that we're live. So take advantage of that and the direct connection to our experts today or any Saturday that you join us. And you know the number if you listen, it's 585. I don't even know it now. 585-222-1180. That's 1180. And Wise Home Energy is one of the show's supporting sponsors. And Jeff is here for the hour. So again, if you got a question about your home's energy efficiency, this is the time to get an answer. It's our mission here to bring info and entertainment to all adults and to celebrate aging at every stage of the way. So if you're a regular listener, you know that divorce and estate planning law firm of Clark Peshkin is our presenting sponsor, which means that we get to have a lot of award-winning attorneys join us on a regular basis. And I'm a little winded today. I still have that little virus that's going around everywhere, but I try not to let it get too bothersome. Anyway, today we asked Clark Peshkin's communications director. His name is Vince Press to join us, and he is with us. He is a big Buffalo Bills fan, like everybody else on the show, and he's kind of in the mood because you know what tomorrow is. It's a big day, and he wants to share some things with us about that big game. And you're going to have to listen up if you're planning any snacks because Vince says he's got the best buffalo wing dip recipe. That's a big claim ever. He says it's worthy of a touchdown dance. So come on, stay with us. And that's coming up this hour. Get a pen and paper out because I think, or your phone or whatever, he's going to give us that recipe. So here comes the snow. I'm looking out the window. It's not here yet, but I'm happy to have Jeff Flaherty here with us from Wise Home Energy with tips, as always, to prepare us for the cold blast that's coming very soon. Thanks for joining us again, Jeff. How you doing? Tell us what's up.
I am good. Thanks, Joanna. You know, you're talking about the planned electric outage that is in the Rochester area. And that's really a good point of energy efficiency is if your home is tight, that home will hold on to its heat much better. So those folks that I don't know if that shutdown has happened yet, but
I think it has. I not to
yeah.
interrupt you, but I did hear earlier, Jeff, on one of the newscasts that there is some areas that are out.
Okay, well that ruins my tip is to, raise the heat a little bit, kind of pre-warm the home, somewhat similar to the way we might warm up a car, although they tell me that might be illegal to warm up a car in New York State. I'm not really sure. But that's the truth is that a well-insulated, well-air sealed home is going to maintain that temperature and lose it much slower than a home that hasn't been treated.
Makes sense. And
So
yeah,
Yeah, so that's that's one good tip. Certainly we always say, and New York State has a very robust energy efficiency program through NYSERDA and through the utilities, and everybody is eligible for a no cost energy assessment. So it's certainly worthwhile to take advantage of that. Some of those assessments, they tend to be walkthroughs, so you want to make sure you have somebody has quite a bit of skill and experience as they come into the home to be able to tell you what's going on in your home. Like an energy assessment is really like a physical. So if I were to go to a doctor and get a physical and then leave and go, boy, the doctor never mentioned anything about my problematic knee that always bugs me. The reason why is if I didn't tell the doctor to look for that issue, the doctor has too many things to look at and is really looking at the general overall well-being. So we need the client or the homeowner to really tell us what issues are you having in the home so that we
Mhm.
can really zero in on what is the cause of those issues.
Yeah. And we've had it done at our home. Jeff came to our house and it's very interesting too. It's an interesting process. He's got that, real top of the line equipment. And he explains everything to you. And you're walking around. I used to kid around and say, I think I have a ghost in the closet because it was always cold in there. And Jeff came in with his equipment and pointed out exactly what the problem was. And it made sense. So I recommend that you get Jeff to do an assessment. Check it out. You don't. There's no obligation. And by the way, he mentioned NYSERDA is an award-winning NYSERDA contractor for how many years, Jeff? I mean, like 20?
I wish it was that many, but
No, you're not that old.
I think it's 6 years running our National Energy Star Contractor of the Year award. So we're very proud of the clients that really made that happen by choosing us, and we're proud of the team members that make that work.
Excellent. And we
Excellent.
have a
We have a
caller
caller
here
here
for you.
for you.
It's
It's
Rose
Rose
from
from
Avon.
Avon.
Thanks for
You're
calling,
calling
Rose. And I
Rose,
guess
and I
she has
guess
a
she has a
question
question
about what
about
to
what
do
to
and
do and
prepare
prepare
for
for
once
once
power
power.
turns back on in reference to the furnace. Is there anything she should know? Hello. Hello, Rose.
Hi. Thank you for taking the call. And I would say to Mr. Flaherty, I believe it's your company that just did the follow-up NYSEG inspection for air tightness and that after the furnace was put into my home. And Mike, I believe, is the one that did it. And he did a wonderful job. He was just so good. So thank
That's
you very
great
much
to
on
hear,
that.
Rose.
Mike
Thank you.
and he was just great. Now, aside from Flaherty and Mike is Irish and so am I, it all helps. In any event, my question is, we just put in a new furnace, and with this power outage, it hasn't hit here. We're supposed to be right in the middle of it, but it hasn't hit yet. I'm concerned that what do I need to do to make sure there isn't any brownout or surge or anything that would ruin that beautiful new furnace and all the work you guys did? Should I just plain turn something off or hope it goes on right when it comes back on, or what?
That is an excellent question. That I don't work with the utilities. Normally that power that should be well planned out by the utility. So the furnace equipment shouldn't have any issues with a power surge. I'm sure they're staging that, turn back on process, and so they would have really probably taken responsibility for that. But it is not an awful idea to just hit the power switch, and then the minute those lights come back on, you can go and turn that power switch back on, and you'll be ready to go. And as I said beforehand, if you want to raise the temperature a little bit, that'll
Yep.
help alleviate that
All right.
house cooling off.
All right, I did that this morning, and it hasn't hit yet, though we are shown in the blanket. If I were
Good.
back doing marketing communication, I would have asked them to put in all the numbers that were going to be affected. There's so many people that I work with in various areas out here who aren't sure if they're going to get hit or not with it. They're on the brink of Caledonia and somewhere else and all this kind of thing. And it would have been worthwhile if they'd put in the numbers that were going to get affected so people could just put in their number and see if they were in the path of it. But in any event, when you say turn it off, you don't mean at the thermostat, which has heat off. You mean down at the actual furnace where there's the little switch at the bottom, right?
That's correct. Yep, the power switch, just like a light switch. The service
Yep.
disconnect at the furnace would be the spot to do it.
And there isn't
Rose,
anything
thank
I
you.
need to do. well, I don't need to do anything when I turn it on. I mean, the old days you had a pilot light. I don't think this does, but
No, it's just they're all smart devices now. So either they have power or they
Uh-huh.
don't have power, and then they'll take over from there as long as the thermostat's calling for heat.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate your information and your advice. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Rose. Rose,
Yes.
are you still there? Are you a regular
Yes, I am,
listener?
ma'am. When I'm home, I tutor students sometimes on the weekends, so I'm not always home.
Great. Well, good. I'm glad you are. And tell your friends we're happy that you called, and I hope that that answered your question. And thank you for calling.
It did. It perfectly did. I appreciate it very much. I don't want to lose a brand new furnace to something like a brown
No way.
power surge. Thank you.
Have a
Well,
great
I
weekend,
appreciate it.
Rose. So, Jeff, that was you answered her question pretty quickly. And what are the other types of things that people call about?
That's sometimes people call up and they're having heat issues and they just want to go through their normal checklist. A filter, if that gets clogged up, there's safety devices in the furnace that will shut down the unit. So just like putting duct tape over your mouth becomes very hard to breathe, you want to not have a clogged filter. So that's the first thing you want to check if you have a no
All
heat
right, cool.
situation.
Another great tip. Stay with us, folks, because Vince Press from Clark Peshkin will be with us next, and he's going to talk Buffalo. And I mean both Bills and wing sauce. Next on Seniors Rock Radio.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Okay, we're getting excited now, folks. You know, it's a big weekend. I'm glad you're with us and you're listening to Seniors Rock Radio if you just tuned in. And our guest today is a big Bills fan, as are all the folks here on the station, and Mike Robinson too, who's not with us today, but maybe he's listening. I'm sure he's excited. We've been addressing the cold today, and now it's time for some hot talk about the big game with Vince Press. Vince is the communications director at the divorce and estate planning firm of Clark Peshkin. He's a PR and marketing pro with decades of experience in a number of industries. He's been around, folks, including professional services, aviation, that's interesting, and economic development. He also has a lot of media experience, and he's been the marketing director for CBS Radio in Rochester, as well as a freelance food and drink writer. That's something I don't think a lot of people know about him. Very interesting. And we're going to find out right now more about that. Welcome to the show, Vince.
Thanks, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you. So what's been happening? I know you've got a lot going on with the Bills, and you were quite excited to get on and tell us more about it.
Sure. Well, we follow the Bills closely, like everybody does. Clark Peshkin has been a partner with the Bills for a number of years, so we're close with them and attend the games. But I've, of course, been a lifelong fan. And isn't it ironic with all this talk about weather that the Bills are playing in Miami and not here? We've so looked forward to the snow, which is going to happen, and the Dolphins coming up here, and now they're down there, and we lose that advantage a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's all right. It's okay, guys. You could do it, even if you're hot, right?
Yeah, I mean, the players they've proven, certainly they beat Miami up earlier in the year, and they've proven that they can win. And from my standpoint, it's really up to the game management and the play calling and the coaching aggressiveness, which has been talked about. And I think if we're hitting on all cylinders there, we should win. You know, there's injuries on both sides of the ball a little bit. Our center, Mitch Morse, is ill, and so he may be out. And Miami has their star wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, possibly out, and their running back, Raheem Mostert, possibly out. And that would be good for us. So, but even if they play, I think we have a pretty good shot. And It's interesting that the game is Sunday night, because there are other games. If we win, obviously we win the AFC East, and that's fantastic. And we're the number 2 overall seed in the AFC. If we lose, we're going to need help from other teams, some of whom are playing today. And so we'll know based on the games today, you know, whether we really need to win, or whether the biggest one being the Steelers. We really want the Steelers to lose today against the Ravens. That would mean we were in no matter what in some capacity, probably a wild card. So everyone's going to be watching the games today. We want the Texans and the Colts. Actually, we would like to tie, believe it or not, which rarely happens. And we want the Titans to beat Jacksonville tomorrow at 1. So there's a lot going on this weekend, and everyone will be tuned in tomorrow night. So yeah.
I see Jeff smiling over there, and I know Pam's a big fan. And I've heard, I don't know a lot about football. I always admit that. I'm trying to pay more attention now. But I've heard that Josh has like trolloped the Miami team several times this year. Is that right? Or over the last couple of years? I don't know.
Yeah, we have a great record against them, and we definitely trounced them earlier this year. We played them once already, so we're capable of it. And there's a lot of people you probably saw on social media, the plane loads of fans going down to Miami, and they're having takeovers on the beach down there. The mafia has definitely taken over Fort Lauderdale and Miami, so it'll be great to see most of the fans.
Diving on beach chairs instead of tables down there.
That's right. Most of the fans in the stadium will be, well, more than half will be Bills fans and Mafia, hopefully. So
I had a blast one time. John and I got the pleasure of going down to a Miami game, and it was so much fun because the fans, they're very competitive, but what a riot. Everybody just teasing each other. And so I hope everybody down there, if anyone's listening, is having a great time. And everybody out there, please put positive vibes out into the universe. There's a lot of naysayers, but don't do it this weekend. Put that positive stuff out there. Vince, tell us more.
Well, actually, on this Bills theme, some may have read it, but Mike Robinson, who everybody knows, our estate planning lead, I wanted to direct everybody he wrote an article in December, in the December 15th issue of the Rochester Business Journal, and he's going to regularly be authoring quarterly articles on estate planning and estate planning topics. But his article in December was really interesting, where he focused on some of the kind of modern assets that have come about or that people often forget to put in their estate planning. And he focused on the new Bills Stadium and personal seat licenses, or PSLs, that will likely be, although the formal plan isn't out yet. Mike wrote about how other teams in the league, to help fund stadium construction, have instituted personal seat licenses, which is basically you're paying for your right to own a seat. And then on top of that, you purchase your tickets as normal. But a PSL is something that it becomes an asset to you and your family, and it's something that can be sold and potentially something that can be passed down to beneficiaries. And so it was really timely and interesting, and I encourage everyone to check that article out either on clarkpeshkin.com or the Rochester Business Journal site. And the article, he gets into some other things like copyrights and royalty agreements and cryptocurrency and rare large collections like trading cards and wine collections that sometimes are left out of estate plans because people they forget about them, they don't disclose them. And so it's a really kind of contemporary take on estate planning that he writes about. And when the Bills open their new stadium, and if you happen to have tickets, that is really something to not forget, that those are assets that can appreciate and something you can pass along to family.
Great points. Okay, now we're going to get to something even, well, I shouldn't say greater, because estate planning is so important. And you know what? I just thought of something. If you don't put those things into your estate plan, sometimes after you're gone, it becomes valuable to other people, and that's where the problems start, right?
Sure. Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the menu. The menu. I told you. It's the head cold. I'm going to blame it again. Anyway, tell us about this chicken wing dip, Vince, please.
Well, everybody makes chicken wing dip, and there's all different versions, and there's some combination of shredded cheese and cream cheese. But the couple tips I had for people, and in my recipe, is I always use a roaster that you can get at Wegmans, of course, and pull the meat off the roaster. So you're using really both the light and dark meat, as opposed to just a chicken breast, which, can tend not to have a lot of flavor. So definitely use a roaster, definitely pull the chicken. And then you could shred your own cheese if you're so inclined, use your favorite wing sauce, of which there are tons out there. I sometimes use Melinda's ghost pepper wing sauce because I love things super spicy. But the two things and absolutely use blue cheese. Some people leave it out because they have aversion to it, but it's really chicken wing dip is a deconstructed chicken wing. And so everything that's in a chicken wing really should be in your dip. And blue cheese is one of them, both crumbly and also some sauce on the top you can garnish it with. But the two things that I do that I haven't seen a lot of is using crispy chicken skin. So if you use the roaster, you can pull the skin off and put it in your air fryer and top the chicken wing dip with crispy chicken skin. And then I take bruised celery leaves as a garnish on top, because obviously celery and carrots go with that. And those are my two garnishes that hardly anybody does. And if you do it, you'll separate yourself from normal chicken wing dip.
Yummy. Vince Press, Clark Peshkin's recipe. We'll put it on the Facebook page too. That sounds yummy. Thank you so much for visiting with us today, Vince. Come back again, will you? And keep us
Absolutely.
posted on
Thanks for having
what's
me.
happening at the firm. Okay, folks, stay with us. We'll be right back after the news, and we'll be talking about keeping warm this winter with Jeff Flaherty some more. Well, that song goes back a ways. I think this is maybe 65, 67. I remember skating at Tommy's Roller Palace to that song, folks. Okay. Yeah, that's how far I go back. But it's all good memories. And today, we're thinking more about the cold out there than memories right now, I think. And Jeff Flaherty is here. And if you're struggling to keep your home comfortable throughout the year, you're not alone. Our area gets both extreme heat, as you know, and extreme cold. My co-host Jeff Flaherty is the man you should call if you're trying to get your home regulated at any time of the year. In fact, you can call right now. He's here with me, and it's 585-222-1180. Jeff Flaherty founded Wise Home Energy to help homeowners make their homes energy efficient. So give us a call or just listen up, because he's got more information for us. And it's always so great to see you, Jeff. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks, Joanna, for letting me step in here. It's great to be here. So yeah,
All right.
the cold weather, I love the cold weather. Not maybe 0 degrees, but I love a day like this, and really hoping for all our folks. I want the farmers in the summer to have good, weather for their business, and in the winter, I want the folks to have good weather for their weather-dependent businesses. So, love to see a little snow for the ski folks or the ice fisher folks out there to make sure they can enjoy the year-round seasonal changes that we have here.
Yeah, the seasonal changes are what I love about this area, and I'm glad that you adjust to each one of them and help everybody else do that. So I'm going to go back. We talked a little bit earlier. We started to talk about what homes, what they call about. What are the things they call about most? So one of the things I wondered is it just older homes, Jeff, or are they primarily the ones that call you?
So we do get a lot of from the older homes, but it's kind of amazing. We get to we get to see homes of all types. We fixed homes that are 150 years old, and we fixed homes that really are just 2 years old. We went out to a home this past week that was built in 2010. A beautiful home, 14 years old. It was about an 1,800 square foot ranch home. And the initial call came in that they had replaced a window and they had replaced a front door, and they wanted to do some other things to lower the draftiness of the home and lower their energy bills. And we don't think of a home that's 14 years old to be that energy inefficient. And when we got out to this home, we climb up into the attic, and we see this wonderful white, fluffy fiberglass insulation, which was used at that time. In some regards, it almost could be my favorite fiberglass, and I don't really like fiberglass that much. But the air leakage in the attic.
That's all I know. I know it's itchy.
Yeah, exactly. The air leakage in the attic comes up and carries dirt and dust, so it turns black. And all the areas that are penetration, so the tops of walls, the tops of electric penetration. So we can see all these air leakage spots that where the customer is losing air. So we did a blower door test, and that number, that blower door test is a test that we use to measure the amount of air leakage in the home, and it was pretty good. It was almost to today's code standards. So even though that blower door is at the code standard, the home is still uncomfortable. Then we look around further, and we see that down in the basement, they have decided to hire out somebody to spray foam their rim joist, which is a great measure. But when we looked at it,
All right,
the
I'm going
rim
to stop
joist.
you. Hold on, hold on. What is a rim joist?
So the rim joist is really the area around the perimeter of the home that is the first that supports the first floor. It's really the
Okay,
wood that supports the first floor. It goes right on top of typically a block or concrete foundation.
okay.
And it's usually poorly insulated. So spray foam is a great product, but if you have a sill and an open block, you want to seal that too. And the contractor did not do that. So the couple didn't really get what they paid for, and it didn't really probably perform the way they hoped that it performed. And then we go a little further and we go to the furnace, and the furnace was, in my opinion, gigantic. So they put it in. It's single stage. It has on or off is all it has, and it's probably, I haven't done the calculation yet, but could be almost twice the size of what the home needs. So
Wow.
if I gave you 10 gallons of water, would you want it in a 10-minute shower, or would you want me to throw it in two 5-gallon buckets?
Wow.
So that's kind of what happens when it's oversized, is you're getting it really just thrown at you very quickly. So this home built to code, but we say not really built to comfort. So, I'm not sure if they're going to move forward, but already it feels like they've already kind of spent money that didn't really solve the problem. And I know personally, whenever I spend money and the next day I say, oh, I wasted that money, I feel bad for clients that make these kind of dartboard throws, and hopefully this will work. We use science to look at the home. We start, as we talked earlier, about what are the goals. If you don't have any particular goals, there's probably not much we can do in the home. But if you want to make a more comfortable home, a more efficient home, a healthier home. I think we did an indoor air quality test at this home, and so even though it's tight and drafty, it was also maybe not that healthy of indoor air quality inside. So all these things come together, and we want to use a science-based approach to diagnose the home, then improve it, and then we test to verify that we've got the results that we wanted. And we can do that in really all era homes, 150 years old to 15 months old.
Well, I know you use science and you use some very technical equipment. And I love that you're mentioning healthy home because I think that's important. The comfort, of course, is important, but today health is important. And I think we're all realizing we've been doing some things wrong for a long time. And I know one time you mentioned, I mean, I'm talking about using certain materials in the house and things that are from other countries. We don't know what's in them, all that kind of jazz. But anyway, so the air is important. Once you said something about, I think you said that the air in your home is actually not as clean as the air outside.
Yes, I think the EPA says that the air can be oh, you know, 60 times more, or 60%, poorer than outdoor. So and we spend a lot of time indoors, whether it's at work or church or gyms or at home. We're indoors in this air. We don't really know the quality of it. And I think
Right.
soon, we're going to we see the devices, the prices are coming down. We're going to start seeing the monitoring of, personal homes being a lot more cost effective for people.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
probably 5, 10 years that it'll be automated, where we'll be able to kind of set that to improve the air quality.
that is good news. I know you're an award-winning contractor, Jeff, for many years. Why should people choose Wise? Tell them in a nutshell here, will you? And we'll talk a little bit more when we come back from the break. But tell them what's different about your company.
So we use the science-based approach with testing and verification, as we said, but one of the things we do is we really document the work we do, whether it starts with the assessment or the installation or the final inspection. Last year, we took 128,520 pictures. That's a lot of pictures, probably averaging a couple hundred pictures per
Wow.
job. No
That
one
might be
wants to
more than me.
yeah, no one wants to climb into their attic. We don't expect you to. You can come with us, but we'll go up there, take the pictures, and we'll share those with you. So that's something that is really interesting because sometimes we get to investigate other contractors' work, and we go to the home and we say, well, where did it start? Can we see the pictures? And they say, I don't have any pictures. I have no idea. And it's just a loss for us. We don't really know what the client's getting.
Well, you know what they're getting, so thank you for that. We'll be right back after the news, folks, with more on keeping warm this winter and Jeff and maybe what's happening around town. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, I can see Pam didn't forget who my favorite rock band is. Thank you very much. And since Mike Robinson isn't here, there are no Grateful Dead tunes playing. Oops, sorry. Anyway, I'm getting carried away with the music, and we're still here. Jeff Flaherty's here, and we're talking about staying warm in your home and cool in your home. And right now, we're talking about that cold coming in the snow. So I wanted to let Jeff get back on real quick because he has some info for you on rebates. But before we do that, I wanted to thank Vince and Jeff both for joining us today. And I think that this show is made up of information from people who really care about what they're doing, and they show it when they come on, and I appreciate that. And Vince Press is one of them. He's a communications director, not necessarily the one that's on the air all the time. He's usually coordinating that stuff, but it shows you that everybody in an organization has something to bring to the table. So I appreciate that, and I just enjoy very much hearing all these different people and meeting them. So thanks again. And thank you to our sponsors. As I say every week, we wouldn't be here without you. And I'm going to let Jeff take the mic again and see if you enjoyed the hour, even though I've been kind of stumbling a bit here with my cold. And he's a good guy and he knows his stuff. So folks, I'm going to let him tell you about these rebates and how you can get a hold of him.
Sure. Yeah, we're with January now, and soon the W-2s will be coming out, and we'll have to file our taxes. So anybody that had work done last year, energy efficient work, they really want to look into seeing if the tax credits might apply to them. There was the Inflation Reduction Act. Now it's probably a couple years old, and it had some tax credits that were tied to it. So you sort of want to look through any improvements you made over the year. Heating and cooling, if they were energy efficient, heat pumps, if they met a certain energy efficiency, they'd be eligible for a tax credit for last year. Insulation, exterior doors, windows, tax credits based off of the cost of the material. So you want to certainly contact your tax professional to make sure these things fall in line and the government doesn't slap your hand for trying to grab a credit that didn't exist. But going forward for 2024, that's really what makes energy efficient so affordable, is that to make a base replacement and not go efficient is actually not a good move. There are rebates from the state. Regardless of income, you can get rebates based on energy efficient upgrades. And then when you partner that with these tax credits, it makes complete financial sense to make an energy efficient choice when you're looking to make improvements in your home. And so there's the operation cost. We think of the upfront cost of making the purchase. So if you choose insulation and it's done properly, there's no operational cost for the next 20 years. You've made those upgrades. When it's done wrong, that's where the problem exists. So not all insulation is equal. And then the same thing on the heating and cooling side. If you properly size that equipment, And we do that when we're doing a full home assessment, measuring the insulation levels, windows, blower door leakage tests. When you do that and then you properly size it and you choose to go at high efficiency, the rebates and the tax credits make that upfront cost much more affordable than just taking the kind of easy route out of just what has been around since the 70s. And then the operational costs will be lower typically than, depending on fuel choice, than what you would if you just took the baseline. So we know this stuff works. We don't guess at it. It's really, we always say to people, take a look at our Google reviews, read those. There's fear when you go to make an improvement in your home like this. And these type of improvements are kind of abstract. You're taking, we go to many homes and they say, well, I've had my attic already insulated. Well, does it perform? We can do a lot of things. It's like saying I want to put a painting on my wall. Do you want to put a Rembrandt? Or do you want Jeff Flaherty to get out some watercolors and paint something? They're not going to be the similar quality, and they might not create the same amount of joy as a Rembrandt. So that's what we recommend, is take a thoughtful approach to improving your home. Give us a call, 585-270-5836. We don't have salespeople. Nobody wants to be sold anything. We don't want to sell anything. We want people that have needs solved in their home, and then we'll come out and we'll develop a plan and tell you if we can solve those things. If we can't, we'll tell you that we can't. We're not going to sell you snake oil and things that don't benefit you. And that's really the team takes a lot of pride in the mission statement of doing right by the client. And then at the same time, we're doing right by the environment, and we're doing right by any of the rebate or grant folks, whether it's NYSERDA or the utilities. We're wisely, pardon the pun, using the money that they have available.
Yeah, it's a team approach, and it's obvious that you care, Jeff, and I think that's obviously why you are the success that you are, and you've been doing this for years now. And I'm glad that you're in our area and that you can help people here, because as I said earlier, we're in an area where we get the hot and the cold, and I think that's why we love it, like you said. But you do need help sometimes, even if it's a newer home. So thank you for that, and you'll be on again. Maybe it might be I hope when the weather's getting warmer. I can't complain though, because we have had a great winter so far, huh?
We have, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, we need some snow for the folks that need the snow, right?
Yeah. Are you a skier?
I own skis. Does that count? No, I haven't been out there in a while, going back to that knee problem that I should go to the doctor, or the old ice hockey. But no, I'd love to get out there again. But the snow hasn't really been here that much the past few years.
Well, I'm looking at Pam over there. You don't have your Bills outfit on. What's up? I mean, excuse me, uniform, shirt, whatever it's called.
Tomorrow I'll be all geared up. Don't you worry.
Oh, I know it. I know it. And are you guys going to be watching it at home, or are you going to be going out?
Yep, well, just at home. It's a late game. I think it's 8:20 tomorrow night. So just, watch it from the comfort of our home. Hopefully we get a good win, so we're not super stressed out for Monday. That's always the worst, is coming in Monday after a Bills loss.
Yeah, I know. You just want to lock yourself up because everyone's miserable. But it's not going to happen this week. We're going to be happy. And I hope my father-in-law, Jack, is putting the Bills gnome out there next to the TV that we got him. And unfortunately, my husband, I got him a new Bills sweatshirt, but every time he's worn it, they've lost. So he's not wearing that tomorrow. But
that's those
let's be
superstitions.
positive, everybody. Don't worry. We're going to be good. We're going to be positive, and I want to see them go to the big game this year. Right?
That's right. A
Wouldn't
Bills
that be
win is
so
good for
exciting?
the economy, I always say.
That'd be great.
Getting goosebumps. Yeah.
It's amazing where we've come from just 4 or 6 weeks ago, right? Everybody was, we were done. They're going to get rid of the coach, and to see us in this position is phenomenal. And as Pam said, it's interesting, the mood. We over the past 30 years, when the 4 Super Bowls years ago, the mood in Western New York is so great. So yes, we need that for work on Monday, Pam. We need that win for sure.
For everybody. Yeah. Let's go Bills. And I don't know what else is going on this week, really. If there's anything going on that you want to tell us about, give us a call. But I do want to tell listeners to come back next Saturday, please, at noon, because we're going to have a great show again. And we like walking this journey called Aging with You. And we're here every Saturday from noon till 1. And next week, we're going to have another star-studded lineup and an hour packed with information that's good for you and also maybe some fun. Mike Robinson and I will be here, and we're going to be doing it live again from the studios up at the iHeart building, and that's going to be exciting. And Julie from Care Patrol is going to give us some direction on finding home care and or senior housing. And Care Patrol of Rochester and Syracuse does that for free, folks. So listen up if you're in the market for helping someone, a loved one who's looking for services, or just for education, so you do know in the future, because it happens to everybody. And we'll also be joined by Dr. Laura Petrescu of Athena Direct Primary Care and Lifestyle Medicine. And I'd like to do a shout out to her because it's her second anniversary. So that's a big deal. Direct Primary Care is new to the market. She's the first one in the market to do it. And if you want to spend more time with your doctor and get a lot of personal attention, check out Athena Direct Primary Care and Lifestyle Medicine. Thank you again to our guests. Jeff, you're terrific. And thank you for helping us to understand more about how to keep our homes healthy. And Pam, thanks for being here for us. And I know you work during the week too. She's a hardworking girl. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. And we'll be here next week, as I said. And we got a couple minutes left. Anything you wanted to say, Jeff, before we go?
Oh, final tips really. I would just say, as we were saying before, we warm up the car. Please don't warm up your car in a garage. When you open that door, that carbon monoxide sucks into the home. Your carbon monoxide detector, knock on wood, hopefully you have one, is set to alarm after so many hours at 35 or 70 parts per million based on the guide. So you could be getting low-level carbon monoxide poisoning, and that is not good for your short-term and long-term health. So please don't do that. Really get a high-level carbon monoxide detector, or better yet, a carbon monoxide monitor, which shows you the parts per million on the screen.
Oh, excellent. I love when you remind us of that, because I see people in my townhome community here with their doors up and the cars running in the garage, and I want to run over and tell them. The other thing I want to tell them is come back next week, because seniors rock.
Rock.